Hey you guys, this is Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And today I have brought with me the Melody Beatty books, as well as A Year of Positive Thinking by Cindy Spiegel. So I think I'm going to start with A Year of Positive Thinking by Cindy Spiegel. I like to start these videos sometimes with this book, as you know. The only problem is that the meditations are always really short, and then I end up talking for 10 minutes about one sentence. But I haven't even looked today to see what the meditation is. So let's get right into this and see what the meditation has to say to us today. A Year of Positive Thinking, Daily Inspiration, Wisdom, and Courage by Cindy Spiegel. It is July 28th. Let's see what it has to say to us. I cannot believe that July is almost over already. The kids are going back to school. Fall's right around the corner. Can you guys believe it? I feel like I waited half the year, which I did, for summer, and now summer is half over. For me, it's half over, and I can't even believe it. I'm like, I can't believe that summer is just like right around the corner. It's going to be over. Okay, it's literally a quote, you guys. July 28th, the determining factor. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Anais Nin, who incidentally I read a lot in my youth. Interesting. Let's read this quote again. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. You know, I think for me, courage is, I think, you know, kind of a byproduct of fear to some degree. Or, like, you work on your courage while pushing through your fear, if that makes sense. And, you know, there's been so many things in my life that I have been afraid of. When we talk about addiction, and we talk about recovery, we talk about addiction being formed in 100 forms of fear, right? So I am somebody that in my life has always been just kind of driven by fear. Fear of so many things. Fear of, you know, back in the day, it was, just to be completely just transparent, you know, fear of like scheduling a hotel, like booking a hotel room or booking a flight, right? Which meant that it really minimized my travel unless somebody else did it. Or, you know, how to go somewhere and get my car fixed, or how to, you know, go to a new doctor that, you know, to have like a new dentist or something like that. And so what happened over time was that my world became smaller and smaller and smaller. On top of that, I have like huge social anxiety, which I have really worked through in the last couple years. And the social anxiety on top of it, the fear associated with going places and, you know, not knowing people and all of that kept me from going to parties and bridal showers and Halloween parties and, you know, bachelor parties and all this kind of stuff. And so what happened over time was my world became smaller and smaller and smaller, and I didn't see as many people and I didn't go out and do as many things. It was interesting because I was just talking to my husband the other night, and I was like, we have like done so many things this summer together. We've traveled and we've gone to this event, and we've gone to that event, and we've done so many things. And you know, a couple years ago that wouldn't have been the truth. Like, I mean, we would have traveled together, but we wouldn't have gone to as many things because I would always just say, I don't want to go. Like, I don't know these people, you know, and I've had a really good time. And so my world has gotten bigger. I've met new people. I've made new friends. I've gone to new places. I'm the one that books all the trips. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to go to a new dentist, you know, which I just had to do recently. Well, I went to the same dental office, but I saw a new dentist. You know, and all of these things that in the past, like, made me afraid, which was really counterpart to having any kind of courage in life. And you think, you know, I think, well, it doesn't take a lot of courage to book a hotel or to book a flight or to go on a trip by yourself. I think, you know, for me, I can remember when my mom passed away and I had gone through a breakup like 6 months before that. And that first summer was one of the, well, I mean, I had flown before by myself for like work things and whatever. But that was like the very first time that like I booked a trip, went on it by myself to, you know, and just enjoyed a trip by myself that summer. And I can remember like sitting there at a restaurant by myself and really enjoying it and really having a good time. And so what I have learned over time is that each little thing that I'm afraid of, when I work through it, I end up usually loving it on the other side. But what happened for a while was, and I'm sure that there is somebody out there that relates to this, is that my world became very, very small. And I would say things like, well, I like just being at home. I'm a homebody. Well, that's true. I am a homebody, and I do love being at home. But I also love traveling, and I also love meeting new people. I'm just often afraid of getting myself worked up to do that, right? And so it was a lot of energy to have to do that, which today it's not as much energy. I love being at home. I am a homebody. I love my home. I love lighting candles and sitting on the front porch reading and hanging out with my dogs and watching RuPaul's Drag Race with my husband or a movie or whatever. I love all of that, right? I love taking my naps and sitting, and I feel so blessed that I get to work from home. But at the same time, I like to go and do things, you know? And so my world has expanded over time. Whereas, you know, let's say 10, 15 years ago, the excuse I would use would be like, well, I kind of just like to always be at home. Like that, I don't really like to go out and do things. When really the truth was I was isolating. I was isolating out of fear, and I have been very, very blessed to have a husband that has really kind of like pushed me through that. You know, my best friend kind of pushes me through that. I have other friends of mine that push me through that fear to go do things, and will say, like, we really want you to go. This is going to be a really good time. And I almost kind of challenge myself now on opportunities that come up, on, you know, allowing myself to enjoy it and go and participate in that. So, you know, I think that, you know, when we talk about courage and having a lot of courage isn't just, you know, working through the hardest times in our life. Yes, that can be that too. But sometimes courage is just stepping outside your front door and being part of the world. And that has been really difficult to me at times in my life, you know, and just participating and being around other people. But what I learned on the other side of that was that I really enjoyed it. So if you're somebody like me that really doesn't go and do a whole lot, you know, push yourself to go do small things, like go eat at Subway or someplace like that, you know, by yourself, and get, you know, maybe get used to eating by yourself in a public place. Go to stores like bookstores or, you know, Best Buy, and just kind of wander around and, you know, say hi to the people that work there and whatever. And over time, you'll start getting used to like saying hi to people you don't know, like strangers and stuff. And I know that it sounds corny, but those are the things that really, really helped me, you know? And I am someone that's kind of a believer in situations like that, that you have to fake it till you make it. And so when I would go to like parties, and I can remember the very first time I ever like did like a big party thing, and it was my friend Erin, and she has a Halloween party every year. And this was a couple years ago. I talked about this on my vlog afterwards. And she has a Halloween party every year, and my husband always went. And so every other year I would say, oh, I'll go, but then at the last minute I'd be like, I don't really feel comfortable going. And I had even like really like been afraid to talk to them about why I didn't want to go. And so that year, I had said to my friend Melissa, I said, you know, like she goes, why don't you ever go to Erin's Halloween party? She always wants you to be there. And I said, you know, Melissa, I have horrible social anxiety. And other than my husband and like my best friend and my sponsor, like she was like the first person that I really kind of allowed in. And she was like, I didn't know that. She was like, what's that like for you? And I kind of told her what that experience was like for me, having social anxiety and the fear that goes along with it. I love when people say social anxiety is not a true thing. And I'm like, well, if you had it, you would know it is, because it's literally like this insurmountable fear that you have of what are people going to say about you? What's going to happen when you're there? Needing to know every person that's going to be there, needing to know where you can stand, that's the safest place. And not that anything horrible is going to happen to you. It's just the fear of the unknown. It doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel safe, right? And so you don't like to be in social situations. At least that's how it plays out for me. And so she said, well, I really think that you should talk to Erin about it. So I, you know, talked to Erin. I called her up, and Erin was like, well, would it help you to like get there early, and then you're there like when everything starts? And I said, you know, I think that really would help. And so Alex and I got there early, and I think that was the first year that we got there early. And I kind of like just like walked in the kitchen, and I said hi to her and her husband. And even that kind of made me nervous. And I like put my back up against, you know, the sink when people like came in, and they would be like, oh, hi. And, you know, somebody would introduce and be like, hey, it's nice to meet you. And there were actually people there that I used to work with, and it ended up, and one of the women that was there was like one of my dearest friends from back in the day, and I ended up having the time of my life. I just had the time of my life, you know? And then that allowed, and I didn't want to leave. I was like the one person that wanted it to go on forever, and that's what always happens, you know? And then I was like, okay, now, like, that helps me for the next time, you know? And each time that something comes up now, I always remember back to that first time. And I don't want to miss out on the good times because I don't have the courage to walk through the door, or I don't have the courage to walk out my front door and go participate in life. Like, I want to participate in life, you know what I mean? Like, I want to enjoy my life the best I possibly can. So, if you're somebody out there that struggles with that, you know, say hi to your neighbor. Just start small, you know. Talk to the barista at Starbucks. If you watch my review channel, you know I talk to all the baristas. I kind of don't know a stranger anymore, you know, is kind of what's happened over time, because I really would push myself to practice it so much. And that's kind of the fake it till you make it part. You know, I would be sitting there and I would not, like, being in line at the grocery store, and I would not be comfortable whatsoever, you know, and there'd be two people in front of me, and I would just sit there and I would think to myself, you know, like, what's something I could say to this woman, right? And I would think to myself, oh, you know, like, I really like her jacket or her sweater or something. And so I would kind of, like, lean over and I'd say, hey, I really like your jacket. And she'd like say, oh, thanks, you know, like, I got this and whatever. Oh, I love that store. And I just kind of learned that there's nothing really to be afraid of, you know? And all of this stuff that I was afraid of was all built up in my head. But it was real to me, you guys. It still is real. It still comes up for me. It still is present in there, and I have to work on it every day. And that's the toolbox that I talk about that we have. The toolbox, see, I said I would read one line, and I talked about it for 8 minutes, but it's been 11. You know, it's that toolbox of skills that I have today that I can work on things. When there's something that I have to go to and I'm afraid to go to it, or I don't want to go to it, calling my sponsor, you know, and working it through with her. And she'll ask me, what's the fear? Like, what's going on here? Is it real? You know, is it irrational fear? What's going on here? And then telling my husband too, you know, and then getting ready and just suiting up and showing up and being part of it. And I still today, like, I go to things. Like, there was a birthday party recently that we went to. And Alex said to me, when he first told me about the birthday party, I was like, oh, I don't know that I really want to go. It was like downtown, and it was like in the middle of like this busy area called Mass Ave, and I was like, didn't know who I'd walk into. And a lot of it is because of the weight gain that I've had the last couple years. So I'm constantly like, I don't know who I'm going to run into, and they're going to look at me like, whoa, you know what I mean? Which then that means I need to work on my weight issues, right? Let's just be for real. And so he said to me, well, I really want you to go to this. Like, this is like a couples thing, and I want to go with my husband. I want to go as a couple, and you know them. You're friends with them. Like, this shouldn't be anything, right? And I was so nervous to walk into this thing, you guys, because I was like, I don't know many of the people here. I only know like one other couple. And I walked in and I had the time of my life. I had the time of my life, you know. I met so many new people, and it just was such a blast. I had such a great time. And that's what I find, you know, is that when I show up today and I participate in life, when I suit up, when I show up and I participate in life, like, life rewards me with amazing, you know, experiences. And I want that today because I feel like I missed out on so much. So anyway, that was a great meditation. I'm not going to read the other two. But anyway, I love you guys, and let me know what you think about that in the comment section below, and if you relate to any of that. It always helps when you hear other people, you know. So when I read the comments, people are like, oh, I so relate to this. It really helps me. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.